What's up, guys? Welcome back to Feed the Beast Interactions. I did quite a lot between episodes. Still didn't move these or this, but I did do a lot, honestly. I got this up and running. Turns out this is fine with the EV hatch. I think the wiki I'd been reading was in one of the less light versions of Greg Tech where you have to use the output dynamos, which only output 1 amp. It was fun in EV, and I crafted up some of these EV Lapotron crystals just so we can have a power buffer. Wasn't too difficult. High voltage circuits, lapis plates, and then these were just Energium. It's just ruby and redstone. Later on we can upgrade those to IV. And then it's just supplying oxygen and nitrogen diesel and lubricant from the ME system. And we don't seem to be having any problems with the supply keeping up. At least not at the moment. I might upgrade this to a high voltage when I move it upstairs, but everything else will probably stay the same. Still got a bunch of oil left in here as well. I also moved the pump and have another 4,000 buckets of oil there. And I started storing brine in here just because it can fill up a lot more passively that way. So I added some more systems to the on-demand processing. I think we had the extruders last time. I added some fluid solidifiers. I added the lasers, but the only one that's actually automated is the AE one at the moment. And I have some assembly machines, some more, and a fluid extractor. And I've been messing with these volumetric flasks, some mod that's included in this, and these are actually really cool. So you can make a pattern that has a flask of the right sides and a material. So in this case, like one sand and a bucket volumetric flask, and put it into one of these interfaces. And then it will put a sand in here, and when the liquid comes back, it will put it in this volumetric flask. And then you can, for example, have a recipe with the volumetric flask, and it will just put the fluid in there. And this saves you having like a different assembly machine for every fluid. We may do later on down the line, but for now I'm happier just having one for each different circuit pattern. So this has let us start automating a bunch of like things that we use a lot: interfaces, spectre coils, drives, P2Ps, and it's just made life a lot easier, to be honest. I only have logic processors encoded in here, but I can still need to do the rest. I just haven't run out. Hooked all processing up to the miner on the space station, and then realized that, oh god, the machines, I haven't had a problem doing this once. The machines we have just cannot keep up whatsoever. So I had to turn that off, which is annoying because I want the red and blue crystals from it to stay used for these things, the annihilation and formation cores. Use Palace and Restonia. And we can make it manually, but it's just a bit of a pain. We also added a centrifuge. I think these sifting machines were there before. So we have a blacklist for all the dusts that we want to smelt automatically, so they're all being automatically smelted. Put an ender chest down here so that I can manually smelt things from up by a terminal. I haven't got one on the other side yet because we can't craft them yet, but we're nearly there. Right. I've done like so many things, I've forgotten how everything's done. This is a ore dictionary filter, so all the dense ore from there comes in here, and the rest goes down to the crate down there. So the crystals. More importantly, I've made some big changes to our passive systems. Ignore this part of the design. They look like this where they're off the ground. They just haven't updated these ones yet. But blue's going to be for passive machines, red's going to be for on-demand machines, and then I'll use black probably for just things that are manually crafting. And I've upgraded a bunch of our passive systems, so this is our polyethylene and also polyvinyl chloride. We're making the tetrafluoroethylene, well, polytetrafluoroethylene automatically over here. We're centrifuging liquid lithium because that's used for power, making lubricant. Over here we're making epoxy. And then up here I have passived all of the circuit boards. These haven't backed up yet. I haven't automated all of the circuits yet, but this is just like the first step and probably the thing that I ended up running out of the most, in all honesty. And on top of that, just like automated a bunch of crafting recipes and stuff. So that brings us into what we're going to do today. The first thing I'd like to do today is to start looking at Flux networks. There is a quest for this. So the first quest wants a Flux controller. So what this is it's an advanced like wireless power system. Because the Spectre coils we have, these ones, you can't upgrade them anymore, unfortunately. Then you transfer 4096 RF a tick, which is 2 amps of high voltage worth of RF. Means for EV machines, it takes 2 of these Spectre coils just to power 1. So really we need to move away from that. I don't think we're going to need these automated. This takes flux blocks, flux and flux cores, flux and EV circuits. So I have to automate the flux cores and the flux though. So I haven't automated these yet, but I'll probably passive them, I imagine. And I need cutting saws as well so that I can automate these. But for now, we'll take the flux cores, and then it's 1296. That's what, 9 ingots of redstone. And I've set up the volumetric flasks, so we only have 144 millibuckets and 1000 millibuckets because all the recipes seem to be multiple of that. Oh, one too many. And to make the flux blocks, this is just a crafting recipe. Unfortunately, you can't use the interface terminal to access the volumetric interfaces, but it's a small price to pay, really. Okay, so to craft this, we're going to need 5 flux blocks and 1 spare flux core. And we don't have anywhere near enough flux, and we need more volumetric flasks. So I built the antimatter automation. This is just the one from the quest book itself. This YouTube guide by IRS Mo. And I take no credit for this. Basically just an RF2 tools builder with a clearing pump card. The card the antimatter quest gives you isn't the clearing pump one, it's just the normal pump, so you have to surround it with glass, otherwise it will leave dirt blocks behind. And that's just pointed at this one block here. This sensor checks whether there's antimatter within a 3x3, which includes this. And then if there is, it sends a signal which stops this. Otherwise, on a timer, it just opens and closes a piston, which lets a tiny little bit of blood drop down, creates an antimatter source block, which gets picked up and put into the ender tank. This is pretty simple. It's pretty ingenious as well, though, I guess. Okay, so after making some more flasks and setting up some auto crafting, let's see whether we can do these 5 flux blocks now. And we can. Okay, there's our 5 flux blocks. Now we just need a flux core. And unfortunately, it has to craft another batch of antimatter for this. Flux, sorry. Okay, and now we should be able to make the flux controller. Flux point and flux plug. Okay, so these are going to need platinum cables and these ender resonators. Okay, I can do all of this, but it's very expensive. Okay, I think I have everything ready for the flux point and plug now. These are really expensive, especially the solarium. So I'm probably just going to do the one of each and then get the quest reward and only use this for EV plus machines. Uh-oh. Did I not put the fluid on? Okay, take 2. Flux point. No, I did do it. Oh, we made the flux plug. Alright, what's the difference? Oh, one needs to be on a different circuit number. Okay. Now we should be able to make the flux point. I think I got it right this time. We could have just crafted this flux plug to, you can just craft them like this. But I figured we're going to need more assembling machines at one point anyway, so I might as well make them now. And there we go. And this will give us 4 more points and 4 more plugs. Okay, so I've made an extreme voltage battery buffer and a couple more of these crystals for now. We can make more as we come to need them. This is still like 8 billion EU storage. And then if we put a flux plug on here, and we select our EU network that I already made. So this isn't drawing any power because we're not using any power, is I believe how it works. But I think if we were to take these 2 spectre coils off of here, and then put a flux point on here, 10 PV machines. Curious how fast it'll be at EV anyway. Still pretty slow. Yeah, we can see that that's pulling power out, and this is putting power in. Yeah, and that's how the flux points work. Now I do have one thing that I'm kind of curious about. If I throw down this MV battery buffer, and then I'm putting EV power into that, so this should explode when I attach this flux point to it and select the network. It should explode. No, I need to put a battery in it first. So if I put this in so it draws power, it should explode. No, but it doesn't seem to provide the power either. I wonder where the 2000 EU came from. So yeah, it does look like you can't overvolt machines like this. I will try one more time. Okay, so if you put the wrong voltage of power through, it just doesn't go through. Well, that's good to know. So I can't blow up my machines, but I have to put in the level of power that I want to take out from it. So I guess that means that I have to have an EV network as well as a... So theoretically, this network is actually EV. And then I could, if I wanted to, use a transformer to transform it up or down. Well, I'm also kind of curious, does this only pull 1 amp and push 1 amp, or... Yeah, I guess I'll have to do some reading about that. Yeah, so I messed around with these a little bit, and I think I'm just going to use them on RF mode. Because they'll take straight out of an EU network in RF, and then they'll convert the power for me. And then I can just attach them to CEFs, and then I don't have to worry about like what voltage of EU's in the buffer and stuff. Seems like the most sensible way to do it for now. I don't know, if anyone has like more experience with this mod and knows a better way to do it, then let me know down in the comments. Okay, so the next thing that I wanted to look into, now that we have energy transfer sorted, is this fusion crafting core, the Draconic fusion crafting. So in order to make these, lapis blocks is easy, diamonds is easy, but Draconic cores require fine titanium wire and EV circuits and improved ender eyes. Now, quest needs 8 of these. We'll come back to the crystal matrix ingot because we need to run our wither farm a few times to get the nether stars. But each of these requires a draconic core as well. And then when we craft 1, we get 4 more. So we need to craft 5 draconic cores. Do we have enough extreme circuits? Okay, yeah, we have plenty of extreme circuits. Let's encode the recipe. Okay, and then we'll have to teach it to make the fine titanium wire. I don't think we've done normal titanium wire yet either. I have to check. No, we haven't. And we'll throw that in there. I'll go and add the draconic core. I really need to put an elevator in here. What's the chances that I can craft all 5 in one go? Pretty high. Okay. Nice. And then we will grab these ones from here. My second stabilized spawner it's given me. I think happens if I try and spawn 2 of them at the same time. Hang on. Do I have the will in the chunk? I know I have the blood in my network. You have the blood in my network. The will is in the chunk. Spawn 1. I didn't think it was going to die that instantly, but sure. Yeah, that's a little annoying. It's just that one cloud floating in front of my exit. There's 13 wither stars. That should keep me going for a little while. This volumetric flasks mods also works with blast furnaces. It has this special block called the buffer. And if you put it next to an interface with a blast furnace recipe in it, it'll split the fluid and the item inputs. And then as long as the thing ends back up in the system, you can either put it in the interface here, or as I've got it, it goes down below to a vacuum freezer splitter. Okay, moment of truth. Let's see if we have everything for this. We can definitely make the core. That's really easy. And then set up the recipe for the injectors. There's no way I can craft all of these at once, right? Yeah, I didn't think so. So we need 3 more nether stars, a bunch of diamond plates. We need to do it in smaller increments for the volumetric flasks. And I need more star melt screws. Okay, I can do like half of them. Never mind, no I can't. I can craft like 2 of them to make sure the recipe works though. We'll get there eventually. Should all work though. Not sure how long these take in the blast furnace. Yeah, these take a long time in the blast furnace, so yeah, I'll go and figure out getting everything else together. Okay, so our first 2 injectors are finished. Now we need another 6. We still can't do them all at once. I forgot about the star melt screws. I'll just make those up first. Okay, so I guess we'll just do them 3 at a time. Well, of course, we're 1 flask short of being able to do 3. I guess we'll just do them 2 at a time. I mean, we're going to spend all of that time waiting for these. And here we go, crafting the last 2 fusion injectors. Hopefully we have everything. So not only does it take 250 seconds per each one of these ingots, so that's 1,000 seconds. After it's finished the ingots, it has to craft the second fusion injector as well, which is another 300 seconds. So that's what's 1300 seconds of craft. It's like a little bit over 20 minutes. Taken me over an hour just to craft. It will have taken me over an hour just to craft these up. Very slow crafts. Okay, and here's our last one for the quest. Thankfully, it's going to give us the last 4, and I don't have to wait for those to craft. Now, let's start setting this up. It's probably a bit of a temporary home for now. It's been so long since I used this. That's not where I wanted that to go. I'd say it's been a while since I've used this. A bit like that. These are just RF Tools power relays with the plugs underneath them. I wanted to end up today by crafting the Euclid's Prime artifact. Got nearly everything for it. I just need 2 of these. Might take just a moment. You need a moon turf. Hopefully dark moon turf works, because that's apparently all I have. Doesn't say dark moon turf works. Let's be hopeful. You need these have to go in individually. God, it's been so long. I just need those alloys. Don't put enough in this recipe. Just help it along a little bit. And I'll fix it later. There we go. I think I might need to move this up a block. I might just go and get some non-dark moon turf real quick. Now I have normal moon turf. And that's better. I was worried this was going to take a really long time, but apparently it's fine. This was supposed to take like 4 million RF or something, but it doesn't seem to have taken that much. I don't know. But yeah. So I'm going to end this episode here for today. I had to do like a bunch of really long side quests to get the flux points, and these crafts just took so long. But, next episode, we'll go to Euclid's Prime, get some new resources, hopefully some new dungeon loot, new power source, this Vintium ore, which we need for a bunch of stuff. Thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.